Welcome everybody to today's live trading London to New York crossover. It's non-farm payroll day today, so that affects the US dollar and the markets as well because of 4th of July weekend coming up. So I'm not sure what we'll be doing. We're going to look at something called the hull, which is one of the indicators we use. So we'll probably do that first. So I'll just start sharing screen. And let's come over to one of the pairs. And let's have a look at the hull. So if you come up to indicators here, I've got it saved in favorites. And it's this one, MTFA HMA with bands by the FX coach. You do need an enable code to use it. That stands for multi-time frame analysis. Something moving average, I would think, with bands. Don't know what the H is. So if I come onto the settings for you, once you've put it on. Inputs, that's the enable code, 29 form A, length 21. Tick the box for number 1 with line, because that gives you the line going through price on the 1 minute. Local 21 for the second one, which is the band on the background, which I'll show you in a minute. Tick that box and tick band instead of line. And then the time period, we keep this to 70 for the transparency. And then we've got it on the 15-minute. Now you can look at it on any of these other time frames. Occasionally, very occasionally, I might look at it on the 60-minute for confluence, but we're not in trades really that long. So we keep it on the 15-minute one, okay? You want to take a screenshot of that. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, okay. And let's switch it on to show you. So this is one of our exit confirmations, 2 flips of the hull on the 1 minute in going through price, and we get out the trade. So let's have a look. You can see a green flip there, and then there's a long red one and another green flip. Not a very long green flip, really. That's a longer green flip there. So one flip. If I'd been in that for a sell, there's one long flip there, and then that second long flip, that's when I would have come out. But it's a lagging indicator because obviously these bands are showing it on the 15-minute time frame. So price has gone down and it's started to change here on the 1 minute, but the band hasn't gone to green until after about 30%. Because it's a lagging indicator like most indicators, okay? And you can see here it's just gone to red. Let's hide that. So price is coming down. Just coming down again. I'll just take that off. I was looking at that earlier. I didn't get into that because although I like the look of it, it was only about 3 pips. So I wasn't sure, I suppose because it's non-farm payroll, so I didn't get in, and then of course it did a very nice drop. Oh, it did 15 pips, didn't do that much, because I wouldn't have got in till there anyway. So that only did 10 pips. So maybe that wasn't so bad to avoid that one then. And the reason was, although it had the break and the retest of the quarter theory there and under the 62, it didn't give me a proper break and retest of the white line, which is the pitchfork. So I avoided getting in, even though I had the 1 minute trend break going up. And that's why it obviously only went for 10 pips before turning around again. and it's doing the same thing again, exactly the same setup again now, except now it's done a bit bigger. Except we're looking at US dollar with non-farm payroll, remember. So that's still only a 3 pip break and retest. Better have a look at Forex Factory. We're meant to do that before we take any trades. So just coming up in 15 minutes, there's our non-farm payroll, everything outside of farming, which is, agriculture, very big in North America, and the unemployment rate and average hourly earnings. So, and then the bank holiday tomorrow. All right, let's have a look at something else. GJ. And I think I'm up to date with the scans, except I had a bit of a strange one I couldn't work out. Brian, did you see my post on that?
Yeah, I did see that. There is a what was it? A
This
GA.
This one.
Yeah, I saw the post. I think it was GA though. Yeah, there's a 1 hour scan where the X point is
higher up here.
Is higher up.
Yeah, because that just isn't right, and yeah, that's clearly what it said on the scanner. So thanks. Let me just have a look at that one then.
Yeah, I'm just kind of hanging out for at least another hour or two before I update my charts for any non-farm payroll craziness. There's a bunch of USD scans in currently.
Right. Yes, I saw that there were the most recent ones hadn't yet confirmed.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah. So that's hourly Traders Way. Oh, yeah, I'll just gonna correct that then.
Just out of interest, are you obliged to update your TradingView charts on every single scan, 1 hour scan that is posted?
No, because you build up so many scans, but Chance does say to check the Harmonic scanner every morning. But if you miss some, you could still be trading off some old pitchforks. The most recent scan takes precedence. But he was trading quite happily, and he hadn't updated quite a lot because they've been packing up to go moving. So you don't.
It has to fulfil so many conditions as well, Andrew. It has to be over 80 pips between C and D, and quite a few other things. So some of them don't qualify. Certainly the 15-minute ones don't normally. They have to be, a bit bigger scans.
But you should always check the 15-minute scans because every once in a while, they sneak one in there.
Yeah, they do. They did the other day that you mentioned, didn't they? That was massive, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think there's another one in there I saw this morning too.
Right.
Which hasn't what, that one, or which is bigger? That's Hugo's Way, FX choice. Let me look at that. That's the same one. Do you mean that one? On the 15-minute, that is Euro USD.
Yeah, that could be the one. A lot of the time the scans are the same on multiple time frames, as you know, but every once in a while you do get a really big one on the 15.
Yeah, that's 118 on the 15.
But I'm that one kind of qualifies not since it hit second entry, but it's a USD pair, so I'm gonna wait until after NFP hits.
And it's gone down 27 pips. So that has confirmed. Yeah, okay. So I'll just come over to, so this one, which is GBP JPY, is already going up away off the D point. So it's between the pitchfork and quarter theory. So if it goes up a lot more, then that is, a failed scan. So we'll see what happens. See if I can find it to show the stop loss on the scanner. So that's it there. and it's wicked up above there, so it's not looking like it's not looking very good on that D point, that GBP JPY one at the moment. So anyway, we wouldn't be trading it because we would only want to trade it for the sell, and at the moment it's heading up towards you know, it's going up, so not ideal, that one at the moment. So I'm just going to load up GA and correct that point.
Sarah, a quick question. Hi, it's Helen.
Hi, Helen.
If you've got a failed scan like that, I presume you still keep it there with the pitchforks for use in the future?
No, I just delete the whole thing.
Really? Okay, what, the whole scan?
Yeah, because if it's failed, your pitchfork's invalid, isn't it?
Okay,
Yeah.
That's great. Thank you.
Yeah, unless say it does carry on down now, and then you know, you think the D point's moved, then you just change your D point. You see what I mean?
Right. Okay.
So, but if it carries on up, then it's clearly failed. In fact, I think Brian had one in our group that I thought looked a bit like that. I'll just pick on Brian here. Perhaps so.
Don't pick on him, Sarah. He might stop posting them, and that's really useful.
That's true. I just as well I can't find it then. Well, I was going to put a comment to say in the group, is this scan still valid? But I can't see it now, and I can't remember which one it is.
Well, a comment retraction on anything said bad about Brian.
Yeah, we like Brian. We like his hard work. So, can't remember which one. Right, GA. Make sure the time frame is the same. Well, I don't suppose it matters now, does it? I can't remember the time frame that one was on. Might have been in one of the M30 ones. Oh, it's that one. Must be that one. So X point is 25th of June at 09.
Yeah, that was the one that Liz was looking at earlier as well, Sarah.
Oh, thanks, Debs. Yeah, because that definitely is not right. So on the hourly, this is unusual to move an X point. 09. Still looks strange to me.
It's because
yeah,
you got
25th.
25th. You got to go back a few more days.
Yeah, sorry.
It's probably that blue point under your indicator stack.
Oh yeah.
Oh, no, you had it.
Yeah, it's okay. That's it. That one. It's there. 25th at 09. That's better. And then you just come down to the 1 minute to make sure the point is on the nearest high in order for the pitchfork to be accurate. So you can see here, although it looked accurate on the hourly, you need to pull it to the nearest one. And then you're good to go. That's it, there we are. And lock that on, then it won't glitch. If it glitches, you need to redo it, and then you won't be able to go backwards so much. once time's moved on, you can't go back more than 2 weeks on TradingView. I still don't really like the look of that one going all the way up there, but it's not a very good scan, is it? Let me put on the other indicators back on. So it's still moving up. So we're only interested in a sell. It's above quarter theory. It's above the pitchfork and above the 62. So there's nothing doing for us on there anyway. And GU we're not going to look at. We won't look at a USD. Euro NZD. And that's fallen off that way, right down to the pip. It's hit the extension. So we don't want to look at that until it decides it's going to come back up here into the scan. So I won't put on any of the other scans. I can see a line. Well, I'll just show you that one. I think there's one there. Yeah. Change that to green, then you can see it. So there's a scan coming down there. And at the moment it's just, oh, and there's another one here. Put that in so you can see it. I'll put it in pink. Make it colourful. Just let's have a look which scan. Not that we're going to trade it. Oh boy, that's one of my Star Wars ones, isn't it? So it's coming down off this. There's that D point. It's that one there. D point from the 24th of June. And then there's this green one from the 11th of June. At the moment, but they're both the same, so you just pick one, but we're not going to bother with them because it's outside this current scan and it's fallen right off. So really I think that's looking like a failed scan to me if I look at it on the 15-minute. I'm just going to change that to green and fade those out, then you won't get confused. You just need to look at what scan you're currently working with, decide which one you're working with and fade them out. But I don't like the look of that scan really. So that's Euro NZD. Euro AUD.
Sarah?
Yeah.
If you had a scan that, like a days ago, I was trying to go through and do as many pitchforks as I could, and a few of the D points didn't redraw, but they were failed scans because they dropped below it. Is it viable to move it to the new D?
Yeah.
Validate.
Yes.
No, not a goal.
Yeah, I usually check the scanner to see if it's moved the D point. If it hasn't, then I move it anyway. But where it's done like a vertical drop or just gone vertically up, then I usually just consider it a failed scan. Does that make sense? Like the one we've just done in reverse on the X point, which is unusual. I don't think I've ever had to redraw an X point. It'd be the same thing with a D point. It didn't look right. It wasn't on the highest point. And sure enough, we went back to the scanner and it should have been on the 25th of June, but it wasn't drawn on the scanner at the 25th of June. So it was a glitch on the scanner. So it's always high to low, low to high. It's always the highest and the low reversal points. That makes sense. So it's particularly with sharks, the D point slips. That's why it has 2 entry points, and we don't get in it until it's halfway to take profit 1.
Okay, that makes sense. I'll try and remember that because I was wondering about the sharks with their double entry points.
Yeah, we wait till it's hit the 2nd entry point or 50% of the way towards take profit 1 before we draw them. Whereas with the other scans, we measure off the D point 20 pips, and if it's moved 20 pips, then it's solidified. Then we'll draw it.
Yeah, that's good to know because I spent ages going through them, and I didn't do that.
Yeah.
Hopefully they're okay. It was good to practice using TradingView anyway.
Yeah. Well, if I made time to write the rules up, which I'll try and do, will do this weekend. I've made a note rules and written it in a big circle with a star.
It would be useful. I've just got
I know.
my place, and
I will. Yeah, I will, and then people can add to them because there's quite a lot of things to think about. So I'll try and categorize it in sections, and then people can look at it and add to the file. So it's a good idea to have them. So nothing here on Euro audits. It's in the middle of things. Or JPY.
Do you do the alternate pitchforks per se, or do you only use those if it's going in a different direction?
You only put a second pitchfork on if price has moved out of the scan, and it must go in the different direction to the current scan.
Okay, thanks.
So this one moved out of the current scan, and it's in an old scan. So I don't need to draw a second pitchfork, even if that would work on it. And when you've drawn the second pitchfork, the prong is out in the middle of nowhere, then it's X to A, and you line it up either with D or C. And if neither line up, then you go for a best fit. But if I put one on there, well, I'll show you. So if I come out to the hourly, I'll just show you where this, because it's come into this scan there from the, oh, now that's interesting because that's, oh, although I'm on the hour, that's not a very good scan really, because it hasn't completed up to the C point. It's dropped right down. So that always leaves me in a bit of a dilemma as to whether to remove that one, because it hasn't completed the scan. So it's not a very good scan, is it?
Would it have to go all the way outside, sort of below the C point, or would it just have to go past the median for you to decide?
Well, no.
I mean, that isn't the latest one I've got. I don't even say it because I don't know where I am with scans. The latest one I've got is 23rd of June it finishes. Oh yeah, you've got one further along. Yeah.
Yeah, I picked up that white one because I thought that's what it was moving into. But now, oh, you've got one with the 23rd of June. You've got one later than me then. Ah. I think I probably am going to remove this one because yeah, I really don't like it. And there's so many other scans, it just doesn't make sense to me to. There we are.
The current latest one that I have is also the 23rd of the June for the D point, but currently price is way up in the weeds. I don't have a scan to cover that area yet.
Oh, okay. Right. See what we've got. So all mine are switched on. So, okay, so let's see if, so I don't have one that'll fit either, unless that would pick it up right back here, which is 12th of February. Yeah, it's so let's see if we put a second, seeing as we have been talking about it. So to draw, go to the hourly and then put your pitchfork, get a pitchfork, put this point in the middle of anywhere, and then go X to A, then come down, then we're going to see if we can line it up, then we'll go down to the 1 minute. So if you put it on the D, that's in the direction of the current scan downwards, so you wouldn't draw that, you want it in the opposite direction. So line it up with the C point there, and that's picking it up beautifully, that pip touch there, there's some touches there, touches along here, stalling along there. So that looks good to me. So once you've done that, come down to the 1 minute and just check that it is on that. You've got the X and the A and the C on. Exactly. It's just off slightly. So it's put that on. Put that on there. And that's fine on the A point. Now on the C, it's just slightly off. I'll come to the 5 minute. So you've got a nice touch there, and all along there. So I think that's okay, picking it up here and there. Those have wicked through a bit. And see if that looks okay on the one. So this is the only fiddly bit with pitchforks, but the benefit is that 10 pip stop loss on the 1 minute entry. So this is the only fiddly bit with any pitchfork drawing. That's market open when you get that gap. Right, that should be it now. So there it is on that C point. So that's fine. So let's have a look then. Current price. And just coming up to that pitchfork now on the second pitchfork, so put our indicators back on. There we are. So what is it telling us at the moment? Well, first of all, we've got one of those sort of price trap areas. There's quite a bit of that going on today. So not one of the best trades where you've got, you probably won't have your stop loss covered. So we've got the orange has crossed above, that's telling us buy. It's above the quarter theory, that's telling us buy. And that's 10 pips. So it's coming back down. So to do the break and retest of quarter theory, you've got an upward trend. If you anchor it, say, down there, let's see what that looks like. I think that's about the best touches there, back here, and touches in there. So it's above the trend line. Then put your long position on for a buy. So 20 pips would take you up to that pitchfork. 10 pips stop loss. But how much is the gap? We haven't got a pitchfork touch, but we have got 80 pips. So that's the exception to our rule that we can take a quarter theory trade where the gap, the leg is pitchfork leg is over 60 pips. Okay. You can just see what price is doing there. So if you wanted to wait till it comes back, and it's not coming back at the moment, I wouldn't get in myself unless it came back to retest and then go. And then you'd have an entry at 74.500, which is the quarter theory. Profit level at 74,700, but look at it after 74.600, the 10 pips, and make sure you've moved your stop loss to stop profit. Someone yesterday said on Euro JPY, whichever one it was we looked at to take, that it had gone up 18 pips, then it had reversed and they ended up at -10, but it was all good because their account was protected. And I thought, well, you know, really you should have put your stop loss the stop profit of 1 pip after it had price had moved to 10 pips, and you would not end up with -10. This is, you know, the judgment calls you have to make. So at the moment, this price isn't coming back. So no trade if it's just going to carry on up and move back. It missed coming back by 1.9 pips, but the 62 hasn't caught up with it to touch it, and the angle there is quite wide. I could draw it like that, which I probably prefer. So I'd still be looking for it to come back, hit that 1 minute trend, and then come up, and for the 62 to come up to the quarter theory. Okay, so that's that trade there. Those are both Asian session pairs though, remember, and tomorrow is bank holiday for the Americans, so the market volume will be slower on trading obviously today as it heads towards that Asian session, and then it's a close till Monday. There's that Euro JPY. We'll have a quick look at that. Nothing there. GN, very fast. Just close some of those windows at the moment. Otherwise it slows the computer down. Right, GN. Nothing on GN. It's on its way down to this area. EuroCAD. Nothing on EuroCAD. Euro GBP. Uh, 15 minutes. Nothing on that. Oh, don't want to look at USD ones, but that's USD, CHF, Swiss franc. Although we are past the news. Well, nothing on that anyway. GCAD. Okay, so we've got it coming down to test the 15-minute. It's still in an upward trend. It's a fast pair, remember. As if you look at your trend line, so I've got a touch there, touches all along here. Bit of slippage there. So the 62 EMA is saying buy. The quarter theory is saying sell. The trend line is broken, so that's saying sell. But we don't have enough to obviously take a trade because we haven't got any pitchfork touch, so we need it to come down here. And for the 62 to come down, and you know, be able to pick up a trend line up here, which we haven't got. If we put the pivots on, we've got lower highs forming here, but we still haven't got lower lows forming. So we don't know if it's reversing properly yet. But we must have our pitchfork touch. So what I'm going to do is put an alert along here. And see what that does. So that's GCAD. CAD JPY. Just looking at the pairs that are left. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4 rejections off quarter theory for the buy. Prices above the orange, which is crossed, that's a buy. But we've got no pitchfork. Oh, we've got no pitchfork break and retest. That one's too far back. We like them all together. How far has that moved off? 14 pips. So it's moved straight up, because I'd like that to come back for a retest. So if price comes back for a retest, then we've got an entry. So I'll just put an alert down here. See if price comes back for us. It might not, it's gone a bit far off, but we'll see. Add alert. So that's CAD JPY. We go down to the bottom. I never look at things like CAD Chef. I don't even think I've got a pitchfork on that. I'm not going to look at the USD. Ord CAD. Nice slowish pair if you're fairly new to a live account. That's come into this scan here. It's just in the extensions. Just show you the scan.
Would you trade CAD pairs today? Is this like just an example of how things work?
Well, I mean, it's up to you. If we find a setup, I'm probably not taking anything else today. I did that tiny little trade this morning, but I didn't really want to do anything today, to be honest, because of what you've just said. And I got 4 days worth on that one trade. So I didn't, you know, I try to be disciplined these days. Otherwise I find it goes wrong for me.
That was your tiny little trade that you got 4 days worth of.
Yeah. I did have to go to bed on that one, and I don't often, you know, do those, but I was very pleased with that one. I wanted to actually get it to 100 because it was like 96.5, but it was starting to turn, and I thought, oh, I've had enough. I've really got to close this. Yeah.
Well, I've missed a lot because I've had to take phone calls, and I'll go and have a look at the chart. What was your trade? And I'll have a look.
It was on, I've taken the markups off it. It was on EN.
Thanks.
But I did sit in it for about 20 hours, which is very unusual for me. And it was back, so it was...
It's not like you at all, is it?
No, I know. But it's because I haven't been able to do a lot of the quicker swing trades. So I thought, well, I'm just going to hang on to this one because it is a fast pair. So it was back, this is today's 1st of July, 2nd. So this is today's New York session. I closed it out in yesterday's New York session.
There's a screenshot of it in the Raining Pips channel there, Sarah.
Yeah, but I only did I did my C trader. I didn't do the graph.
Yeah, well, that's what I was gonna say. It's from your broker account, but
Yeah, I mean, I could take the prices, but it was here. I entered at about 5:30 in the evening, 17:30 in New York session. Let me put a vertical line on. So I got in somewhere. I got in somewhere round about here, and it had come down off that pitchfork. I can't show you the quarter theory, and then I had 15 pips stop loss on it, so it was obviously forming that 88, the long leg. That was the 24 hours later, roundabout. It was earlier than that I closed, somewhere down here. But I could have hung on even more, but I didn't, because I didn't know that it was going to form that D point at that point. So obviously I was on that long extension leg. And then I was in bed for all this bit here, because normally I would have closed out somewhere down here, you see.
you should go back and mark that one up for next Monday night's backtesting call.
Okay, yeah. I'll leave that yellow line on, that'll remind me.
What time are they? UK time?
That would have been about 4.
No, I'll see.
Oh, the backtesting call is Monday night at 12:30 after midnight, 1:30 in the morning for me, but it really, really is a fabulous call. It's wonderful.
Amazing. That's when Chance goes through, is it?
Yeah, he actually, you submit your chart. So you take the 1 minute shot, do a little text box and mark up what your criteria was for entry, and then take a shot of the actual scan that you took the trade off. So OrdCAD, when I looked at this, I was just wondering if we had a fib on this, but we haven't. It's coming down past that. It's just coming past that. It's just slipped past quarter theory, but we've got the orange saying buy, quarter theory saying buy, and we've got the break and retest of the pitchfork. So if it comes back up, it's done the 10 pips break and retest. So what time are we? Coming up to the hour, so that could be our hourly fake out. If I put a trend line on it, like that. Settings. Except I've done it in green, the same as the other one. I'll change that to white. So what we're looking for here is for price to do this. And you want the, because it's done the break and the retest, so as soon as it moves up, but you want that 62 to curl round, not be pointing down. So we'll see what happens with that one. And it'd be nice to cover your quarter theory as well, if you can. Just a slow moving pair. I wouldn't normally put 14 pip stop loss on something like OrdCAD, but you can see how it has wicked through there. Okay, what's GCAD up to?
Did you have a look at GA at all today?
Yeah, we did. Let me just find it for you.
That's the one where you moved your X point on the chart scan.
Oh, yeah. You can tell I'm awake. Where's it gone? There we are. Yes, it was still going into buy mode, and we only want to take sells on this, so wait for it to come back into this. Yes, that's coming back round, so nice spot there. So 1 minute, put that on there. Let's just magnify it a bit for you. So I wouldn't want to get into that till it's come down past that pitchfork. GA is a very fast pair, so you need 15 pips on it, and you want to cover that quarter theory. And put that there. You might not be able to get it to 15 pips. 85. So just wait for a break and there's an old pitchfork there. Wait for a break and a retest of this point here. So and you want that 62 to be coming down. So you've got an entry at 1.80376 thereabouts. You'd be looking on this fast pair for it to go down to 1.7, 8,000 flat, because that's quarter theory, the next point down. But you can see it's got, excuse me. You've got these lines back here. So look at your previous lines of support and resistance. Put the horizontal line on at about 10 pips. And you can see where it's rejected off. So I'd be watching that at 10 pips. That's 9. So personally, you know, I like to get that break and retest. I know it looks like it's just shooting straight down, and because it's moving absolutely straight down, it may just carry straight down. If you are reckless or brave, whichever word you want to use, and you thought you'd get in there, then fine, you know, grab 10 pips or something. But you know, fast money, secure the bag. You know, you don't hang around. If it drops just like that, you just go bang and you take your pips. Because as fast as it's gone down, it'll come back up again. Let's just magnify it, see what price is doing there. So that has come down here 7 pips. Very fast pair, so it could be coming back up. That's on a, to the pip, it's just rejected off an old pitchfork. I'll show you that one there. Can you see there? That green dotted line is an old pitchfork. I do love it when it shows how they work. I'll just fade that out again. We don't need to look at any more than we have to.
Yeah, your old pitchforks is a double-edged sword. They're either a blessing or a curse.
Yeah, yeah. Acting as some kind of wall between us and profit. So there's your entry would be 1.80362. You've got the orange coming down. You want a good break and retest because you want that orange to come below quarter theory, really prove that the trend is coming down that way. Break and retest of that, and then put the trend line on. And that's given us that break and retest there. And I'm just wondering if there's a fib on that.
Oh,
There too. No, I haven't got any fib on that. It's only gone back up to the 50%. Testing that.
Some more? Some more? Oh, I thought you were running those that I bought you. Really? No, no, we said you were happy in those, yeah? No, I'm sorry.
Robert, Sarah. Robert's something.
It's Robert's the noisy one, is he? I don't want to hear Robert's marital.
Oh, sorry. I apologise.
We're just worried about you sharing your marital secrets with us, Robert.
Yeah, sorry. I thought I was on mute. I do apologise.
Oh, that's all right. Okay, so it's coming down now. And that was 7 pips there. So because it's such a fast pair, I suppose technically you can say that's done its break and retest. But it's only 7 pips. And that always worries me a bit. 7.8, 8 pips. So as we're at the end of the hour, may as well just watch this one. I know Sharon now is on at 4, so I'm not holding anyone up. So I'm not getting into it, but it's up to you what you think of that. You've got the lower highs forming there and there. So the trend is coming down. And I'll just see if I can get a trend line on. But it's you've got your trend line going across there, and then this very steep one.
I got in it, but by the time I'd put my stop loss, I was in profit. By the time I put my stop loss to entry and put my TP point, it had come back and taken me out for nothing.
Yeah, well, it is GA's one of the wildest pairs, remember? So and it's just we've just hit the hour as well.
So I'm not going to lesson learned. I'm not going to go back there.
Well, on the other hand, Chance did give us a lesson last night on one that hit stop loss at hit stop loss at 10 pips and then had exactly the same setup, just a little tiny bit. In fact, I think I posted the charts in the group because it's such a good example. And then it just, took off for the 40 pips. So, you have to have the confidence to re-enter because you'll get 1 or 2 setups. They'll all be exactly the same. And the first 2 won't take off. You might get stopped out, stop profited out at 1 pip. And then the third one goes. It's just the way the market is. And then it makes up for all the money on the minus 2%. I'll just put a trend line on this one and then we'll call it a day. That's because it's gone down very steep. So it could be it's just going to sludge along in here in this little cheese sandwich wedgie thing between the pitchfork and quarter theory and that 1 minute trend line. So let me see what the hull's saying. We've had quite a bit of that today. I've seen on the pairs that prices between these sort of areas. But as I say, it's not really a good day to trade, to be honest. Well, that's red all the way along. So it's following the scan. And there's been no glitches of green. And that's since lunchtime, since 12 UK time. Right, okay, so there wasn't a fib there, was there? That was...
So as I understand it, a 62 above the 930 indicates a buy, but we're in a downtrend with the red on the MTFA.
Correct. So you want a strong downward momentum on the orange line so that you know that it is going to cross that blue line. So that's why I said wait until it's showing it's coming below quarter theory, because you're correct. It is still a buy. It is still, that indicator is telling us that it's in a buy. It's still in a buy,
So
and it crossed over. Sorry?
If they was showing red, that implies it was a sell, doesn't it?
On the hull?
Yeah.
That's right. So it crossed over on the 1st of July in New York session for the buy. This is the orange 62. And it is still a buy because it is still above the blue 15-minute. So although the scan is telling you that it is a sell scan, price still wanted to push up. And although the hull, which is an exit confirmation, remember, we're not using it for an entry, so I hope that hasn't confused you. So I wouldn't be using it as one of my confirmations to say, oh, the hull says red, I'm going to get in. But it does give you that confidence that, you know, on the 15-minute, the trend is coming down. So that's why I said you want to see the orange pointing down, either strong momentum or for it to come below quarter theory. And obviously once it crosses the blue, then the current trend in the market is selling. So at the moment it's looking good. Quarter theory is saying sell, and the pitchfork saying sell, but we haven't had a 10 pip break and retest. It was only 8 pips, if you remember. So that to me, and if you look at it stalling out now, it's fading. So it probably wants to just carry along in here. I mean, I don't know. I hate saying what I think it's going to do because I don't know, do I? We're just going to only look at the confirmations. So it's not enough of a break and a retest, but it is a very fast pair. And you might want to wait for that to come down. But then if it's moved off so many pips off that pitchfork, then you're too late on your entry because you won't be covering the quarter theory with your stop loss. And with these fast pairs, you really want the 2 barriers. You want everything. That's now moving down 7 pips again. So you really want your 62, your quarter theory, and your pitchfork all in that red box together, all nicely tightly bunched together, your 3 confirmations between you and where you enter on your price.
I like the explanation, thanks.
Yeah, technical. I try and keep it simple because everyone says they find all these colours bewildering. So I thought, okay then. And then I'd say 62 EMA and people go, oh, what's that? But, you know.
No, I like it. Once you get your head around it, it's good. I made the mistake of watching one video of Chance, and he put 2 pitchforks on, and I started trying to copy it, and then I was like, my God, this looks mental.
Oh, I know. Yeah, he goes fast.
It's not quite as complicated as that video makes it look. So
yeah. Yeah. So, and always enter on a candle in the direction where you're taking the trade. So if this wasn't because I'm a bit nervous about the market today, that was only 7 or 8 pips. So it technically it had done its break and retest, but not for 10 pips. but if you had wanted to get in on this, you would have got in here. Let me just show you on a, which would be that green candle there below your 1 minute 1 minute trend line, and the first sell candle below the pitchfork after the break and the retest. We didn't get a break and a retest right up to the quarter theory, but it did retest the 15 minutes and then reject off that. So you could count that instead. And then we've got the orange coming down to cross the blue. So you have to kind of make the judgment call, is it a strong enough momentum down, because it hasn't actually crossed the blue, which is fine. I do get into trades where it's a strong momentum down on the orange and it hasn't yet crossed the blue, but I see it's intending to. And that's where the hull shows you that as well, because the hull was red on the 15 minute. And sure enough, it's coming down now. So now you would be at 10 pips. So at this point, just clone that. So this is where you'd have your stop losses there. So it's a very fast pair. So you've got to decide now at this point whether you're going to follow the 62 or whether you're going to bring that down now to your 1 pip stop profit, bearing in mind this is a fast pair, so it does swing wildly. So you want to keep that stop profit behind your behind the 1 minute trend line and see that price continues to respect that. So you might not want to move it that tight. You could move it to behind a previous, say the 15 minutes, the previous highs there, and then just let the 62 catch up with it. But you're still now, you've only got the one barrier between you being taken out. But because of the market, I've run stop today on that one I was in this morning. I've run my stop profit tight, and yes, I could have got, no, I couldn't. I was right to do that actually. So I did move mine to 5 pips, which gave me 1%. So I thought, well, at least I'm going to walk away with 1%. So that's the other way you can look at it, that you're going to get your 1% out of it, which would be 5 pips. So that's to there, 306. So just showing you how you work a trade. So say I had got into this, I'd now be at 5 pips at 1%. So I thought, well, that's good. And then you can see it's wicking off at the 20 pips. It did move down very fast. So 20 pips is your trade goal. I probably would be out the trade on this because of the day and thinking I'm nervous. I don't really want to be in a lot of trades today. That's a trade goal. Thank you very much. A nice little bonus for the end of the week. However, technically, especially on something like GA, you don't get in it just for 10 or 20 pips. You're looking for this next level. You've got a lovely zone level for take profit at 36 pips at 1.8 thousand. That's the next quarter theory, down to that zone at 40 pips, which is the pitchfork at 1.79950. So that's how you look at running a fast pair like this once it starts to drop, and it's still strong downward momentum. The 62 is now crossing quarter theory, so I'd be moving my stop profit to 10 pips, which is my 2%. I am behind the 1 minute trend. However, it could well take me out because it, that's your judgment call. You have to decide you're going to try and get it to that next level. It's Thursday, it's before bank holiday, it's, a very fast pair. Your 10 pips would give you your 2%. So, you've got your 1-to-1. You've got to be thinking those things through. So you see, it's probably going to come up and hit that 1 minute trend line, in which case it'll take me out the trade. So my other option would have been to have kept it at the 5 pips, because that's behind the 1 minute trend. So that's where it's up to you. Do you want 5 pips, 10 pips? Are you trying to run it down to get the 30 to 40? and you have to look at the time of day, what's happening in the market, look back at where some of the previous lines of support and resistance were. It's a sell scan. It's broken through those levels there, so that's good. That's very good, and it is a very fast pair. Wild pair, 10 out of 10. So as I say, the only thing that put me off getting in was nervousness about bank holiday. You know, the market, what's it doing today? Not very much. A lot of it's been sitting in wedges. It only did the 7 pips there. It didn't do a bigger break and retest, so that would have probably put me off getting in. But it is running down, sort of textbook fashion actually. But there was no fib to put on this one. It just moved, you know, fast pair. It just moved straight down. And this is why I love this style of trading, because we've got 16 pip stop loss. We just put it slightly above quarter theory to cover us. And if it had the proper break and retest that we liked, then I would have got in on that candle there. So already in 10 minutes, I've done 26 pips, or 25 pips, call it that, daily goal, 25 pips. So that's my perfect style of trading. Stop loss covered by pitchfork and quarter theory, 1 minute trend line respecting that, strong downward trend of the 62, a fast moving pair, and a very nice zone of that's my favorite profit level, where you've got a quarter theory and a pitchfork together for a take profit, because price will always want to move between levels, because that's the psychology of the market with the bankers. So it will want to touch this level now. Sometimes it can fail. Obviously, it can do what it likes. You know, it can fail and come back up, and then it'll have another go. But it is a sell scan, so it will want to work its way down. But you know, 25 pips in 10 minutes with a 16 pip stop loss is. I think Chance was asked yesterday, how long does he typically stay in a trade? How long do the trades take? And he said 45 minutes. The longest he stays in is 4 hours. So that's our preferred style of trading. Because if I just did this one trade at the 25 pips, I could be out for the day. I don't have to, you know, suffer anymore sitting in trades and wondering if I've done the right thing, and, you know, just keep compounding like that, and you'll be fine. So now it's breaking that 1 minute trend. As I say, fast pair. So if you'd set your profit at 10 pips, you'd be out the trade, because it's going to come back up, probably to want to come right back up to that 62 line. So here you would have had to have decided, did I want to take the 5 pips or the 10 pips and be out this trade? Because it is a fast pair, so it's coming back to do something, whether it's coming back up now. But if it comes back up to test the pitchfork, and then you see a sell candle again, and you're at the right time, you're not on the hour, then it's giving you another entry, because that is going to cross the blue in a minute. So you've still got the same setup. $26 pips. So if I'd moved that to 10 pips with broker spread and commission, I'd be out the trade at 1-to-1. And that often happens to me, to be honest. It's that judgment with me of trying to find, because as Chance always says, you don't get into these fast pairs just to come away with 10 or 13 pips. And I just find it hard sometimes to find my right level of where I put that stop profit. Because you've got to be prepared. So if we'd left it at 5 pips, I still think it's going to come back up here, or this 62, because it's such a fast pair. You know, it's not, why should it sit in the middle of nowhere now? It's broken the 1 minute trend. But at least, and there is that pitchfork there, so it could bounce off that. But at least the 62 is crossing down now. So we'll just see where it turns or what it does, just because it's well, I find it interesting. If you want to go, that's fine. It's 11 pips away from the pitchfork. But I've got a big balloon in my head saying, Sarah, don't be tempted to get in this trade. You know, you don't want to do any more trading, don't do it. So if I was going to, obviously it'd be at this level here, where that pink arrow is. And show you what are the pivots. So it still hasn't told us a new low. So you've still got lower lows going on. Sometimes the pivot will flash up. You know, it takes a bit of time to catch up, I suppose. And the hull is, so it's flowing a bit up and down.
EMA's now crossed, haven't they?
Oh yeah, they have. That's good. So still on red on the hull. So obviously it did just do a little reverse there without going back up to there. So if you'd had your stop profit at 5 pips, you should still have been, that's 5 point, that's 6. So just move that up. You should have, just to show you how to run this kind of thing. So that's 5.4. So you should have been all right if you'd held it at 5 pips with your broker's spread and commission. 3.3. You probably would have been okay. You wouldn't have been out of the trade. But if you'd been at 10 pips, which is probably where I would have put the stop profit, obviously you can see it wick through, you would have definitely been out the trade. So it's moved 26 pips down. So obviously I was talking baloney. It didn't want to go all the way back up. But as you know, the market flows like a river with its little reversals. So it should now, I suppose, want to carry on down. Now it's done its little reversal back. So say you'd kept your stop profit at 5 pips. So now you're thinking, can I squeeze any more out of this? Because I can't run it. I'm not running it behind the 62. I've been tighter on it than that, because normally we might run it 3 pips behind the 62. So you've got to decide when you're going to move it to the 10 pips to protect your money. So it's moved another 10 pips down. So at this point, as it's now at the 20 pips, I think I would definitely be, if I had kept it at the 5, I'd definitely be at the 10 pips at my 1-to-1. Even with that 62 crossing down, because, you know, why give money back to the market, and at least you've made 1-to-1. So I'm going to take that one off so we're not confused. And let's just see, it should run down quite fast. And then we'll call it a day. I'll be back on tomorrow to do our weekly back testing. Bring your charts or ask any questions, and that will be at 3 p.m. UK time, and then Saturday morning 8 till 10 UK time, but just on Messenger. I don't want to be sat in the desk chair analysing charts, but if you're doing some educational videos on this strategy, you've got some quick questions. That's what happened last Saturday, and I thought, oh, people obviously, maybe the kids are out at football or out shopping with the wife or something. If people have got questions, then I don't mind answering them on Messenger. I'm very happy to do that. So we're coming up to the half hour, and when we get to the half hour, I'll call it a day. Just show you on the half hourly candles, because I haven't got to them for a while actually. So the half hour candle, now we'll look at the hourly close. So you've got strong engulfing sell candles. Look over to the right, it says 2.08, it's counting down. Now, once it's finished that countdown to the 30-minute candle, that's how the candle is printed on the market forever. So it's nice that it's coming down on the half hour below that 62 EMA. and on the 15-minute you would see it's below the 62 and the pitchfork, so that's, and you know, nice candles down on the 15-minute there, and 1 minute 30 left to go. So if we got a big, if it finally whipped right back up, you might start to think that it's going to turn and not make that next level down, because it's the body of the candle that is where the candle closes. The wick, like if you look at that wick down there, that's the lowest price it achieved on that half-hour candle. But the close of the candle was the body there. That's where price closed, and that's how it's printed, as you can see. So candle open, candle close. And that's in the last few seconds, still looking very nice for it coming down. So big, strong, long engulfing candle. Strong push down on price, so it is moving. And the last 10 seconds. But it could still wick up, could do what it likes till it actually finishes the print. And that's the print of the candle. And let's see what the new open candle is, also sell candle. It could change, but at the moment it's a sell. That's still a very nice strong bodied candle. And on the 15-minute, you're just coming down, seeing it broken down into smaller time increments. There's a little doji candle where we saw that reversal on the 1 minute, if you remember, and then it's continued to push down with a bigger candle there. And back to our 1 minute. So we're now at 28, nearly 30 pips. So 28, nearly 30 pips on that, 28, nearly 30, and I'm at 10. I think I'd move that to 20, because even if it took me out 1.362, so that would be 162, that would take me out, wouldn't it? This is where you have to, with this strategy, you just have to decide. This is what I love about the strategy, because you've got your levels, you've got your percentages. It's always the same. It's dead simple. Even I can work it out, and I wasn't good at, you know, algebra and stuff at school and all that good stuff. You just have to decide what sum of money you're happy with on any one trade, how much you want to squeeze it down, because you could still be at the 10 pips, and if it comes back up, you've walked away with 10 pips, not the 20, and it is a fast moving pair. You know, I can't tell you for sure it's going to come down to that quarter theory until it's come back up, and then it might work its way down an hour or two later. You know, I don't know. So your only safe position is running it behind the 62, about 3 pips. And then why would you want to be right up there when you could have had 5, 10 or 20 pips? But you have to make that decision when you enter a trade, what you're going to try and get out of it. And it depends what trades you've been in before in the week, like we're at the end of the week, or what you've done this morning. If you've already made your pips, then you might say, I'm going to leave it up here, because, you know, if I just walk away, well, I wouldn't leave it up there. I probably actually would definitely have a 1 pip in. I wouldn't want to make a loss on it. And Chance says he usually puts it at 5. I think that's what he usually says, because he says, well, at least I know I've bagged 5 pips, you know, which is 1%. So probably the 5. And then you can't be upset with yourself if you've made that decision. And that depends, say you've already bagged 20 or 25 pips, you've done your daily goal in the morning, then you say, oh, okay, well, I made an extra 1%. That was a bit of a bonus. 100 trades over the year with an extra 1%, you know, gives you another 100% on your account. So always think how you're going to get out of a trade before you get in. This one probably will continue to run down here, but do you really want to sit in a trade for hours waiting for that to happen? you know, it's time of day, isn't it? It's Thursday afternoon, bank holiday tomorrow in the States. You know, all those things should be in your mind when you're thinking about how you're going to run a trade. So I'm not going to sit and look at this one any longer. I'm going to take it off as well because I don't want the markups. But I hope that was helpful. And anyone that wants to hop on tomorrow, it's our cozy little coffee and chat. We just all chat about things. We're not looking at, I don't trade on a Friday anyway, and it's the bank holiday. So, but I'll do it anyway. Okay, then I'm going to stop sharing. Have we got any more chat? Yeah, okay, that's it. People are off. So I'm just going to stop the recording.